Alive with Nick. What's going on with you today? Never mind, don't answer that. Congratulations and happy birthday to those who are celebrating, having beautiful, wonderful events, enjoying those summertime vows that you all are doing and other good things that you might be taking on. And my condolences to those who have lost someone's or their family does need comfort. Prayer goes out to those who deserve what they deserve. All right. Woo, woo, woo. The last few days have been pretty warm. Hopefully, everybody is indulging in their water, vegetables, and fruit. You know, we have those unhealthy individuals who cannot drink water to save their lives, but you can eat fruit and you can eat vegetables. They retain water, okay? So, with that being said, let's go on. Everybody's so darn creative. They're creative in so many ways, but the thing is, in the midst of creating things, why don't you create some opportunities? Opportunities to learn, opportunities to grow, and opportunities to solve your own problems without becoming someone else's problem. It was crazy yesterday. I went into a mainstream, I guess you could say it's a mainstream store. It's a mainstream dollar store, Family Dollar, right? And the women in there, they were having a discussion, and it was funny how everything was playing out. Now, they were saying that the men in the neighborhood got together and went up on the roof and stole the whole entire AC unit. And can you believe it? An industrial AC unit they stole, right? So as I was in the store, they were talking about it and they were laughing. I was laughing too because I'm like, wow, the same people who are coming in here who benefit from getting a few minutes of air when they're in the store are the same exact ones that decided that they were going to steal the AC out of that store. And it's no longer a surprise, really, of how people will be in a situation, visiting the situation the whole time they're casing the place. So I don't know what happened in between 2015 and COVID time, but everybody decided that they were going to do some catch me if you can type of things. Like everyone wants to do a bit of magic. I call that stealing. Nowadays, I call that a little bit of stealing, that type of magic, because everybody in the neighborhood was going there for at least a minute or two of air and getting their things. Now they have to suffer just like everyone else because a few risque individuals decided to steal the air conditioning. I doubt they got the amount that was charged or for the installation. I doubt they got that. However, they were bright enough to steal a whole industrial AC unit. It begs me to inquire, if you guys are so smart, why not go get hired where you can get paid, for that type of labor? You did that, and I doubt you guys got over $400 for that situation. And if you did, you're selling yourself short. Interesting. I wonder how that looked in the middle of the night. Somebody or a few bodies transporting a whole entire industrial AC unit. So you see, this was a pretty big job. Can you hand me that, sweetheart? Thank you, dear. Alex says good morning. Yeah, so with that part. And I guess it works a few times, but after a while, with that type of skill, why don't you just go and secure you somewhere where you can actually get a paycheck without looking over your shoulder? So that seems to be the gist of things. Everybody wants to get everything, and it's not even easy. It's got to be hard. You've got to coordinate. You've got to get people to wake up, get up on time, bring the tools, and you've got to make sure nobody drops it on your foot. It just seems like a lot for nothing. So, also, another side note, wanting to be very safe. Everybody in the world is starting to come up with these vans, these white vans, no matter if they're sprinters, they're Fords, they're old Mercedes, what old what GMCs, whatever. These white vans are suspicious. Everybody doesn't have that type of skill. Everybody shouldn't have that type of vehicle. It's too easy to steal equipment and people in those vehicles. So be on alert when you're around white vans. Everybody seems to have one, including a lot of the people who have immigrated from different countries and they are here partly for asylum and whatever other things that they would be here for. Other than that, just be aware of the white vans. They're in all the movies, they're in all of the warning signs. People pull up and people get tossed in. Doesn't have to be a white van, of course. I saw a black van that looks a bit suspicious. It looks a bit familiar, actually. It looks like over 20 years familiar. And just be aware of these vans because everyone in them, even if they still have work equipment, that does not mean that they're going to work on that equipment. The work might just be you. So be aware, be on alert, especially if you have young kids, things of that nature. More and more people are starting to act erratic. I'm starting to see people being snatched and they're not getting saw again. The other day I saw a news reel where there was a 6-year old nonverbal child, and the first thing everybody says is that child went to the lake. While that might be true, we also have other things going on behind the scenes that make me want you to be more aware of your child's emotional needs and try to address them straight on. A happy child is a safer child, is a more alert child, especially when you're talking to them and you're making them aware of the things that might go on. For instance, while walking the other day, I did notice that I'm starting to see a lot more dead birds, small birds, sparrows to be exact. And I also know that that is part of some of the weirder practices that we have around us. That's part of hidden behind the veil. But I will say this about this. If you start to see dead birds in your neighborhood, there is somebody doing something not so nice very close by. And whatever it is, they're benefiting from it. So if you see someone whose job description doesn't match the amount of things that's going on around them, then you'll know that there are some shady things going around, especially when you start to witness dead animals. Okay? Um, what's understood doesn't need to be explained. Be aware of the dead animals. I am starting to see a lot more dead birds on my walks. Um, that's not just a coinky okay? All right. Yeah, that part. Oh, this coffee is great. This is a coffee day. I've got my pink pumpkin out. Even though I know the children of the night are still moving around. However, the thing about this is they only have power if you pay them attention, really. I saw this lady's friends, and they don't look like her friends. They look like they're afraid or it's like they're aware of something. And even though they're not this person's friends, they look nervous. They look a bit nervous. They look as though either they're being blackmailed or they're chained in by something other than like. Okay? So pay attention when people are around people, and it doesn't seem like they're friends at all. It seems like they're just around because they have some common thing that has nothing to do with familiarity. Okay? I swear, I looked at this lady's friends and they looked terrified. Why are we afraid of the crazy person? They're crazy, right? The thing about crazy people is the more you entertain them, the crazier you look sitting with them, whether you agree or not. You can get up and walk away and say, hey, I think this person's crazy. But what's even worse is that you sat there and you indulged in the craziness. So, yeah, birds of a feather, that type of thing. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going because does it really matter? Does it really matter? Yes, it does. So I've got Psalms 84. Hey, Wookie. Let's check edition up. You got your blueberries. Good. All right, so let's get this Psalms 84 done so that we could get back into the messages. And I've got the tarot today. I think I'm doing gold foil and I don't know. I haven't picked between the pink and the actual matrix yet, but the pink usually is more detailed, right? Without me having to go to the book. Okay, so Psalms 84, here we go. How amiable are thy tabernacles, O Lord of hosts. My soul longeth, yea, even fainteth for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh crieth out for the living God. Yea, the sparrow hath found an house, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she may lay her young. Even thine altars, O Lord of hosts, my King and my God. Blessed are they that dwell in thy house. They will be still praising thee, Selah. Blessed is the man whose strength is in thee, in whose heart are the ways of them. Who passing through the valley of Baca make it well, the rain also filleth the pools. They go from strength to strength, every one of them in Zion appeareth before God. O Lord, God of hosts, hear my prayer. Give ear, O God of Jacob, Selah. Behold our God, our shield, and look upon the face of thine anointed. For a day in thy courts is better than 1,000. I had rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than to dwell in the tents of wickedness. Bless you. For the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord will give grace and glory. No good thing will he withhold from them that walketh uprightly. O Lord of hosts, blessed is the man that trusteth in thee. Amen. Selah. So let it be. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. And that was Psalms 84. All right. I like to put my little rat back around my waist. So, good morning to those who are just coming in. Congratulations to those who are having celebrations and happy birthday to those who are having birthdays. It is Cancer season. It is crabby season, but you got to be careful with those emotions because those crabs will drag you right into the barrel with them and you'll be drinking crabby tears. Who wants that? It's the fool. It's the fool who's knocking. Pink foil. So, for those who have, go on and take out. Draw what you draw, see what you see. And I'll tell you what I see over here. Okay, good morning. First off, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit. So there is someone who is hidden away, but they are shining lights on something, or they're at least seeking something in the dark. Okay. Let's keep going. We've got the Magician came straight on out. So someone is manifesting, manifesto. They're praying, they're hoping on a prayer. So there is a magician. Someone is manifesting. Someone is coming in with a offer, but it is a Knight of Swords. Now, this is giving, I'm coming to offer you me or something, but it's not what you want, but it's an offer. Be careful with people trying to give you bare minimum offers or just trying to be aggressive about being in your way when you really don't want them there. They feel as though you want somebody, you feel as though you want them out of your face. Be aware of what you want, not what somebody pushes on you or tries to overly coerce or suggest. If someone comes up to you and the answer is no, let the answer be no the whole entire time, okay? You can't really afford to let a person try to push you into a maybe, because the maybe is giving a person a chance when you really don't feel that way about them. So stick to your word, all right? This is looking exactly like there is a manifestation of someone coming in to offer you a cup. Just because someone offers you a cup does not mean you need to take it, okay? Be aware, examine the cup, look at the cup even. But if it's a no, keep it a no. Even if you do get curious, still keep it a no, all right? And that is the Magician, the Knight of Swords, and the Two of Cups. The one thing I don't like about this deck is it has nothing determining about the sign on it. So bear with me as I look, because I like to see what the signs is. That's the only thing about Pink Tarot, is you kind of have to remember. You have to definitely remember what the numbers are for everything. And the Magician is... Ooh. The Magician is one. Mercury, power of manifestation, having strong influence. And then we've got the Knight of Swords, which I said is coming in. He's coming in with an offer, but it's a knight, right? It's not a king. So right, that you're going to be working with a lot of mental anguish. This is a person who can basically love bomb you to death, and you don't want that. This person can push and pull on feelings. Doesn't mean that it's a total loss, but if you're not into the mental gaming in the midst of what you have going on, I suggest you keep on pushing that offer by. Change is hard to accept, but it takes you to use your full potential and reap the fruit of your labor. Feeling very ambitious, having super focused attention. So this person is going to be hard pinned, trying to convince you to take the offer. It is definitely up to you. I cannot tell you what to do with yourself, but what I can tell you is it's a night. Need I say more? Okay, that's it. And the Two of Cups, that is what is that? Usually that's Gemini. The Two of Cups is usually a Gemini thingamajiggy. Hold up. Alex, express your feelings to those you hold in your heart. Let them know that you care. It is Cancer. So the Two of Cups is in Cancer, which is a Cancer reading. We're going to start in Cancer since this is the A. Sit down. Thank you. Finding love, mutual partnership. And that is Venus in Cancer. Need I say we're going through two different retrogrades. Cancer is liked by Jupiter a lot. It's favored definitely by this retrograde, as well as Mercury. So there's a lot going on. So be aware of mixing feelings. It's going to be like a knot that you have to untwine. So be careful, take pause, and ask yourself the questions before you start giving any answers, okay? All right. And that was the Cancer reading. So pay attention. Man or female, sun, moon, rising. We have Mercury, we have Cancer, we have the Magician, which is 1. We have the 2, which is 3. You are in co-creation with the Lord, which means that you need to wait on him. There will be suitors that will be coming along, but you need to wait on the sign that is the one. Look for a sign. Doesn't mean you can't have a conversation, but it also means if it's a no in the beginning, if it's a no at first glance, keep it a no. Trust yourself. There's a reason why your body said no. Okay, let's go. Hello, Leo. We've got the Ace of Swords. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. The Ace of Swords is mental clarity. Okay, Leo? So, big Leo, big cat around. Let's go. It's looking pretty good as far as your mental is going on. We just talked about you having mental clarity when someone approaches you and being able to take pause enough to know what your body is telling you, know what your mind is telling you upon approach. A lot of times that is the first line of communication, even before you speak the first word, which might be hello. All right, let me see what this Queen of Pentacles. Hey, Alex, before you start up. I took my time getting up this morning. I don't know why. It just felt like I just needed to just really take my time. Hey, sit down. I don't want to keep telling you. Okay, Queen of Pentacles. Besides your motherly attributes, you also excel in leading projects, executing your plans successfully. Okay, so somebody's definitely doing very well as far as mental clarity and executing plans, making plans and getting them done. The Wheel of Fortune is in your favor as long as you keep moving forward. Do not get waylaid by the side. Lackadaisical approach is not suggested at this time. Definitely, when you set a goal, stick to it and it will come into fruition. This is not the time to get distracted. Pay attention. Pay attention. Okay? All right. And that is in the Leo Big Cat. That is what's up. Let's see. This Queen of Pentacles is water and earth. Living in luxury, comforting others. And that is a blessing. If your life and your things aren't together, you won't be able to live a life of luxury. And that doesn't always mean riches, physical riches. It means that you're able to have a cup of coffee, you're able to drink cold water, you're able to relax, you're able to have lights on, you understand? You're able to go home and get some kind of solace or peace. You're able to sit down and study something for a while, okay? You're able to have a small breakfast if you'd like. You understand? And some of us have the luxury of going out to go and get coffee. Some have the luxury of going out to go and get breakfast. So don't take anything for granted. Right now, your life is your model. That is your reputation. So when you're doing things, do things in all honesty and all authentic. Because there are others watching. It is comforting, even if you're not going about giving everybody hugs and kisses. It is comforting for other people to know that there is someone in the world that is satisfied with exactly what they have and not trying to take advantage or knock anybody else off their squares. Other people feel comforted when they know that they can come into your space and they don't have to move their purse. They don't have to look over their shoulder. They're not in any worry of you trying to do something to them. That is comforting to others when they know that they're not around a bunch of predators all the time. Are you a predator? Ask yourself. Be honest. Are you a predator? Can people leave their purses around you? Are the kids safe around your conversations? Will your conversation put a person in prison? Or would it get a person robbed? It's up to you, the things that you take a part in. It's also up to you, the people you hang with. You may not be a predator, but if you hang with predators, you'll be seen as a predator too. Okay? So that was the Leo reading. And the Wheel of Fortune is, let's get on over here for that last card. The Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. What did I tell you, Cancer? So be careful, you Leo Cancers, you Cancer Leos. Welcoming change and having good luck. Okay, so definitely there will be a bit of nesting going on for those of you who are going into the North Node. Nesting looks like you're trying to check all of your corners. You're trying to cross your T's and you're trying to dot your I's. You want to make sure things are clean, put away. You are making sure that you have enough clothes for the week. You're making sure that you have dog food. You're making sure that you checking your gas and your budget for your gas. That's what nesting looks like. It looks like you're trying to make yourself satisfied with what you have so that if you should get more, it would be extra. That is nesting. All right, there you go. That was your Leo reading. Let's get on over to Virgo. Good morning to those who are just coming in. We will not pay attention to the childish people who probably haven't taken their medication in a while, but it's going to be okay. I suggest you seek professional help, especially if you're coming onto people's platform, and let it publicly be known that you're lacking somewhere in the mental area. Okay? There are crisis hotlines, there are suicide hotlines, and if not, you can actually just go to the back of your medical card, dial that 1-800 number, and get some suggestions on what you should do about your mental health. Okay? All right, that's for you. Okay, Virgo, let's pop on over here. And we have the Nine of Wands. That is the Wounded Warrior. We also have the aching heart. We have the the Three of Swords. Oh boy, shikes. What's going on? I have an upside down card, which is very rare for me. So I'm going to read it while it's upside down. I usually don't accept them upside down, but we're going to read it both ways because it's here, all right? So we have the Nine of Wands, which is a wounded warrior. We have the Three of Swords, which is heartbreak, agony, anxiety, that sort of thing. But this is concerning this Nine of Swords. Upright, it already means anxiety. It means sleepless nights. It means that things aren't going so great. But let's just read what's going on as far as it being upside down. The Nine of Swords. Oh boy. That doesn't look like a lot of rest. So someone's not getting too much sleep, okay? Be careful with that because that can put you in a situation that you really can't control, okay? Nine of Swords, do not feel ashamed of being traumatized. Chin up, conquer your pain. So someone is definitely wrestling with the dark night of the soul. Maybe they're not accepting what's going on in their lives and they're trying to project out, okay? Let's see, recovering from illness, releasing trauma. That's in the upright, but this was upside down. So let's see what it says. Overcoming anxiety and finding support. All right, okay. So, we already have this Nine of Swords, which means that someone's not only been through this before, they keep taking themselves back through the same exact cycle, okay? Big old bump on the head, big old bruise. However, the communication says that this person has been through this type of thing before. And now we have the Three of Swords, which is heartbreak, anxiety, points to a lot of things, but let's be more specific. I like to go into knowing exactly what it says. Life knocks down everyone. The choice lies within you whether you want to remain down for the rest of your life or rise again. That's Saturn and Libra, okay? Three of Swords is Saturn and Libra. So there's Libra, and then there's that Knight of Swords. Nine of Wands, okay? Nine of Wands. Now that Nine of Wands, you have lived a life full of trials and tribulations. Yep, that's that wounded warrior. But your determination has always helped you overcome all the obstacles. Your mantra is to keep going. That's the moon in Sagittarius. So there's Sagittarius Libra going on here with this trying to maintain resilience. So someone's trying to hold on to their strength as they go through these trials and tribulations. And that's what's going on in that Three of Swords. So from the Nine of Wands, the maintaining resilience and trying to keep strength as you go through that heartbreak transforming emotional pain. So somebody's definitely going through a lot of emotional pain. And then we get into this Nine of Swords, which is recovering from illness, releasing trauma. So someone is definitely hurt, hurt, heartbroken. They are butt hurt. Okay, they are hurt. Someone definitely has to deal with a lot of unspoken trauma, unhandled trauma, unbridled trauma. And they have to be careful, as well as we have to be careful when we're dealing with a person who is hurt. And the thing about a person that's hurt like that, a lot of times, eventually they start hurting themselves unbeknownst to them. And they keep doing the same actions over and over again, and it doesn't fix them. It no longer helps them. It no longer gives them the fix that it gave them in the beginning. They start to hurt other people. So the phrase hurt people is the truth to an extent. Only if you allow them to hurt you. So when you know you're around a person that is dealing in a bunch of hurt, a bunch of lack, a bunch of projection, it's best for you to disconnect and get away from them, because you can carry some of their energy away with you. And it can get onto you. You're having a good day, but you keep entertaining or listening to someone who wants to put all their burdens and heaviness on you. And for some of us, few, we'll go on our jobs and try to do a person a favor because they're hurt, and end up in a situation because you didn't understand that the hurt person was out hurting people, and they ended up getting hurt because they didn't hurt a person enough. So be careful who you help, and be careful of the things and the situations you take in. Sometimes you're sitting there trying to comfort a person who does not deserve comfort. You're trying to comfort the person who is the person who's guilty of giving out hurt. So be careful with going in and having empathy for people who do not have empathy for others. Some people are really good at seeking out people who they can lead by feelings. Some people are really great at picking out victims of their hearts. Alex, stop kicking that, please. They're great at it, okay? So be careful with a person who's hurt all the time, who wants to transfer that hurt and that responsibility to you, because you could take it on your job and end up suspended and end up fired, all because you decided to take in someone else's problems and they didn't tell you that they were the cause of their own problems. And that is the Virgo reading, Sagittarius, Libra, and the Nine of Swords. Let's pull that again. And that was in Gemini. So you have Sagittarius, Libra, and Gemini, which is a lot of air, which is a lot of communication. Not a lot of heart, but a lot of communication. So be careful of a person who uses communication to their advantage and uses it to disadvantage you. Okay? There you go. That's that Virgo, Sagittarius, Libra, Gemini reading. Okay, let's step on over to the Libra. Isn't that wild how one sign always leads to the next reading? I'm noticing that in my reading. So take what resonates, Sun, Moon, Rising. It is a story if you put it all together, but it is separate when it comes to 6 degrees of separation. The Hierophant just popped out in Libra. Okay? And whoa, that nine of wands came right back out. What's going on with you all? And we have a 9 of pentacles. Let's see. The Hierophant represents groups, institutions, the way the world sees you, maintaining tradition, developing spiritual discipline. And that is a Taurus sign. That is Taurus energy, Sun, Moon, Rising. Take what resonates. And we have that Sagittarius back out here again. That's the wounded warrior. So we have someone trying to maintain tradition, even though some of their traditions haven't gotten them anywhere. Sometimes you have to change a few things in order to get some different results. So someone keeps trying to do the same thing as in tradition. Okay, let me explain in this. Say you got a family tradition. It's always the same. Everybody always operates the same. However, you're starting to notice that it's starting to implode on the family. And the thing about it is, you're realizing that that tradition is now starting to affect with the luxury and the wealth of the family. You know, some things do work for a period of time, but as things change, we have to change the program and do things differently. Looks like someone is finding out that their family tradition is not pinning out to be the same. Eventually, things do fold in, especially when times are changing. So, with this this Nine of Pentacles, let me see what this says. In a world where everybody seems to want to lean on their own understanding, you have to be very clear with some people, okay? And that is the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles. It's usually a good card, but when it comes in, oh, okay. So in this Libra reading, Taurus, Sagittarius, the Nine of Pentacles is Virgo, finding abundance, being self-sufficient. So in this tradition here, someone has to figure out how to be self-sufficient. Self-sufficient means you got the energy and the pentacles from yourself. So if your family has been stealing all these years, or they live a life of crime, or they're just espionage, they embezzle money and things of that nature, someone's going to have to find a better way to get to that bag, okay? Because here's the thing, across all America, they are assigning fraud teams. They're assigning teams for the PPP loans. They're assigning teams to go in and find out why America is being held in ransom and being ransacked for riches we keep saying we don't have. But we keep finding these special individuals who don't do anything special in life, but they keep ending up with majority of the riches. And we're just trying to figure out what's going on. So once these fraud teams come in, a lot of people are definitely going to have to get up off their high horse and actually go get the horse that they can afford, not the horse that they stole. Okay, so that is your Libra reading. Someone's going to have to actually go and get a real job or get a real income, because this ain't gonna work forever. So if you've been stealing for a long time, learn how not to steal. All right, let's keep going. We're going into Scorpio. Hi, for those who are just joining in, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? Do yourself a favor, like, share, and subscribe. I also am an author of this book. Wait a minute. Inside Gossip by Alexis Sisco. It's a beautiful book. Hey, that's me right there. I am straight champagne, depending on what you're looking at, whether it be the website or if you're just going to go and get the book. It's on Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, Rose Dog Bookstore, and you could try it on Amazon. There's also an ebook available for a few dollars cheaper if you just want to hear it out. Don't forget, Inside Gossip. Oh, I think there's somebody selling my book over in the UK somewhere. I'm coming for that too. Thanks, Kiera, you crook. Anyway, let's keep going. So, Scorpio, how are you today? Hopefully, you're having a great one. The Scorpio is the desert crab, right? That's the dry crab. Okay, we've got the Eight of Pentacles. We have the Star and we have the Queen of Wands. Let's get into it. So the Eight of Pentacles is usually mastery of one's pentacles, one's craft, right? Invest in your skills, create a masterpiece of your craftsmanship. There are a lot of things waiting for you to notice and address. So pay attention to the details, okay? All right. And building your skills and setting goals. That is the sunshine and Virgo. So the sun is usually masculine. The moon is feminine, okay? And it doesn't have to be, it's interchangeable. It's all just an energy. So when you're up on your games and you're mastering your skills, it is looked at as masculine. It's not a bad thing, but usually the men are the protectors of the money and the temple. They have to pay the rent, right? They have to make sure things are paid. So when you're mastering your masculine side, it's all saying that you're protecting the things that you have. You're protecting your abundance. You're protecting things, okay? All right. So the star is here, which is the 17. So the 8 and the 17. And then we have the Queen of Wands. We already know who the star is, but let's read into it. Boy, this coffee smells great. All right. Okay. So the star, open yourself to new hopes and possibilities for receiving the blessings sent by the universe and embrace success. Aquarius energy, feeling renewed, being inspired. Thinking out of the box and actually thinking out of the things that are in your box specifically. A lot of times we have a lot of talents and we can work with them beyond looking at other people's things, right? There you go. And now we've got the Queen of Wands coming on up. Moving on up on the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie. Yeah. All right, so we got the Queen of Wands. You have encountered enough obstacles in your path. This is your time to rise and shine. Being confident, having strong motivation, water and fire. So things are heating up. They're coming to a boil, Scorpio. And this is your time to shine. Take all of the things that you know about yourself and that you have discovered and make a good dash for the finish line. It is your time to shine. Hope this helps, Scorpio. You have mastery of your skills, you have the presence, you have that star energy, and you have the resources. Even if it's just a little bit, you have someone you could speak to, you have a place where you could actually just plug into. There's something you have and something you have access to, and it doesn't take a lot for you to make a masterpiece. Be well, do great. The world is waiting to see what you have in store. All right, that was the Scorpio reading. That was pretty positive. And take that energy, sun, moon, rising. That is Virgo. That was Scorpio. It is what? Let me see. Let me make sure because I hate to not give you everything that you need with it. Fire and water. That means that you have Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini elements in you, as well as fire. You have Sagittarius, you have Leo, and you have Aries in you. Those are 6 elements that are great to have when you are communicating what you have with the world. Take advantage of all of those traits, okay? There you go. All right, so let's get on over to Sagittarius and see what's going on over there. Congratulations to those who are just coming in. Happy birthday to those who are enjoying a nice, wonderful birthday. Have you gotten a chance to see the formation of the Navy? They have been doing some wonderful things in the sky. Congratulations to our men and women of the red, white, and blue. You are the perfect fit picture of altruism when you're out representing in these streets. We have no idea what's going on in your mind or what other intentions you got going on. But for the most part, when you're in those aircrafts, you make me feel proud, okay? All right. I'm glad that you make it up and you make it down safely. All right, Sagittarius, let's go here. We started off in Cancer. We'll end up in Gemini. Page of Cups is here. It's a fish in that cup. And we have Hermit. Oh, boy, this is a lot. This is going to be a little loopy, okay? All right, so we've got the Page of Cups, the Hermit, and we've got the Seven of Cups. That is a lot of illusions. That is champagne dreams. Hopefully you don't have Kool-Aid pockets. Let's see. Page of Cups. All right, be persistent in your approach to manifest your dreams into reality. So we have Earth and Water. Earth is Capricorn, Capricorn, Taurus. Why am I missing the third Earth? Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. No wonder. I don't like them. A lot of them. Anyway, so that's not every Virgo, but most of them for me. Okay, just for me. Okay, so be persistent in your approach to manifest your dreams into reality. Earth, water, innovative creativity, listening to intuitive messages. So there is someone here who came here just for the tea. They came here to get creativity from yours truly. Isn't that something? Innovative creativity, listening to intuitive messages. So not only are they coming here to get messages, they're going to other people because they're pulling creativity from other people. That is what's going on in the Sagittarius, and that's this Virgo Page of Cups. So this is someone who didn't come to offer you a cup. They came to get something in their cup. This is a taker. When you see this, this is a taker right now in this reading. So someone is hiding and taking. Ah, makes sense. They're hiding and they're peeking so that they can extract information. This is a person that's plagiarizing. This is, I'm just going to say it what it is. This is a Sagittarius reading. This is a person that is plagiarizing. Page of Cups. I lie to you not. It's like right here in my face. Okay, so there's a Sagittarius that is plagiarizing. They're taking things and taking credit for things that are not theirs. Okay, we have boy, that's wild. That's wild that you came out like that. Earth and air. Okay, so this person is a bit heartless. Um they believe that they're grounded. So basically, their foundation isn't plagiarizing. They take other people's ideas on the whim. This person extracts creativity from other people. They don't get inspiration from the inside. However, they use it to get riches. So there is somebody who plagiarizes or steals people's lives, ideas, anything, and they make it their own so that they can gain riches. Sagittarius, for this Sagittarius, I don't know how good this is going to go. That's going to eventually backfire, especially if you're not the original creator. It's called intellectual property, and it's also called copying. Okay, so be aware that people do litigate when you're taking their things and making them your own and gaining monetary you're monetizing it. Okay, so be aware that a person can, so if you get any cease and desist letters or things of that nature, you do deserve it because people work too hard at creating for you to just come up and take it. Okay, and be aware that what goes up must come down and what goes that way going to come around. Okay, so somebody might take your thing. So be careful of that too. So you may take someone else's things and someone may take your whole entire model and turn it in as well. So be aware of karma. All right. That was the Sagittarius reading. That was the Page of Cups, the Hermit, and the Seven of Cups. Okay. Someone comes to take, extract ideas. They hide. Someone's hiding behind a fake profile or whatever they're hiding behind, and they're definitely extracting ideas. They're probably trying to take things from this reading right now because they're not truly intuitive, but they fake like they're a real reader. So be careful of readers copying off of other readers. If you do see someone with my material, please report it. Please turn it in because that is plagiarizing. Okay. All right. And that's what's going on with this Sagittarius reading. Yeah. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't steal. Whew. Beware of the witches with the little dogs. Those poor dogs have to take so much abuse because they got so many people throwing back their spell work at them. They get the dogs as a shield. Especially when they got kids they don't care about that much. The dog is a shield because of all of the negative energy they put out. So if you got somebody around you and they always got a new animal around them, or the animal takes sick, or the kids take sick all the time, those kids and those animals are shields to take some of the bad negative juju that they put out because they know they've got it coming. The truth hurts. I like that Usher song. The truth hurts. Hey. All right. So we've got the Two of Cups coming back out here. That is Cancer energy. We've got the Knight of Swords. And we've got this Eight of Coins. So we have another love offer coming by this same fool, this Knight of Swords, who is trying to master his pinnacles. So we also have in Capricorn, with a Cancer reading. This is Cancer. That's woo. All right. So doesn't want me to get this out. Someone doesn't want me to get this out. So someone's trying to act as though they know better before they come offer you something, but they don't know better. It's a fake offer. They're going to act as though they got some sense, but they ain't got no sense. I'm trying to tell you. They're going to act as though they got the job, they got the bank account, they live in life accordingly, but they've actually come to rob you, come to steal, come to destroy your home. Even if they come to pay a few bills, they come to try to sabotage you so that you don't move forward. Because, hey, everybody wants to try a bad bitch. Everybody wants to try a divine masculine, but they're not cut out. So make sure you know your worth when they're coming to offer you a cup, okay? All right. Somebody really doesn't want me to say this, but I know better. And I'm hoping that you know better too. All right. So we've got this Knight of Swords out here again. I like to keep making sure. And that's fire and air. So they're going to be very passionate. Might be an Aries, might be a Leo, might be a Sagittarius. But they have air, which means that they have the gift of gab. People with air in their chart, they're really great at communicating, okay? This person is going to make it seem as though they're the best one for you. They're the dream. They have everything for you, but they're not, okay? It's going to be a very uphill battle. They're going to do the push and pull. They're going to be a love bomber in one way or another. This person may even have a long game. I'm looking at 813 on my screen right now. Put it the way it goes. I'm looking at 8 and a 1 and a 3. That's where it goes, okay? Put it where it has to be. It can be a January, can be in August, could be a March. Those are the months you need to look out for. January, March, and August, okay? Fire and air, feeling very ambitious, super. Yeah, they're going to try a lot of coercion. They might even buy you flowers. They might even cry. Or they might turn around and get a little angry, and maybe they think that toxicity might be your thing. So what they're going to do is they're going to study you before they come in, and they're going to try their best to tug on that emotion so they can tug on that skirt, so that maybe they can tug on those underwears. You be safe out here, okay? People have the gift of gab. When they really want something, they're willing to do anything, including talk about their own mother. All right? They're willing to do that. They will put their kids, they'll put it on their kids, they'll put it on their dead granny. They'll say, I did that because my uncle died, my goldfish died. I'm trying to tell you, these people have studied emotions while having none. All right? So you be careful out here in these streets with these here Capricorns, okay? Yep. And that's Cancer. There's all the earth signs, there's all the air, there's all the no, there's all the fire sign and all the air. And then we have this 8 of Pentacles. They're going to look like they have mastered life. They're going to look like they pay bills. You might even do a check and they might even have it clear. Let me tell you, these scammers and this AI is wild, okay? Everybody's so freaking creative. So even if you are able to type it in and it doesn't look like it, trust you me, there are a lot of things that do not go reported, especially when you're dealing with a scam artist. Is somebody in a biking motorcycle club? Be careful if you are in any associations with any motorcycle clubs. Not only do they have bikes, they go tri-state and they do a lot of things. They coordinate a lot of things. You don't know who's behind the helmet. You do not know their ranking. You might not know their jobs, and they're not going to tell you, okay? This is how people hide. They take on other personalities when they clock out, okay? They take off the suit, the tie, the robe, whatever, and they get into these other cosplays, and you would have no idea what these people are connected to. So you make sure you're living authentic. And that is the Capricorn reading. There it is. Knight of Swords, fishy offer. The knight is someone who looks the part, who is not all that. They have to get their basic orders from other people. Remember, a knight has to be knighted. They have to be knighted. They have to be given permission. They have to be have the orders. They have to have the papers. They have to have the warrant. Okay, they have to get a certain type of permission before they can go forward. So, do you really want a knight? All right, so let's go forward into Pisces. Ew. All right, the sun just came out. There's masculine energy exposure. Let's put this card the right way. Ooh, I don't like how they're just jumping out here. So somebody's definitely trying to communicate, or they're all over the place. They're trying to think of something to say. Well, if you got that much to say, you might as well shut up. Yeah, that part. Yeah, it's somebody definitely got a lot to say. They're trying to get what their words are together, but 9 times out of 10, whatever they're trying to say, they might as well don't say. And they got an attitude. I see the eyebrow kind of slightly lifted on the sun. It's smoldering. Oh gosh, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm looking at. Okay, so they're trying to learn tarot as I'm saying it. They're trying to study and they're trying to figure out what's going on as I'm saying it. And they might even have a deck that they've brought just so that they can be extra nosy, right? Cool, whatever. Okay, and it's a king of swords, okay? So it's the king of swords. It's a king of not a lot of heart. Okay, this is a king of communication. This is a king of manipulation, and they're trying to learn tarot because they're going to put that as another notch in their belt. So someone is preparing to come into the spiritual realm and try to tie things up a bit, all right? All right. If they haven't already, this looks like someone who knows someone who has a deck and they try to manipulate the deck. When I say manipulate the deck, which means they try to say a lot of things to the reader in order to make the reader biased toward their situation so that they can pull out outcomes that they want. So that's what that's like. That's like having someone who keeps saying, well, pass me your deck, or pull out your deck, read me. But during the course of them reading, or you pulling out the deck, they're talking. And what they're doing is they're creating energy around the cards to make the cards come out a different way, either in their favor or to mess up something. So they're using word magic, spelling. They're using that to manipulate the energy that's coming out of the cards. It looks like somebody keeps spewing out a bunch of things that you didn't ask, a bunch of things that you didn't ask, answering questions that you haven't asked yet, or trying to make it seem as though someone is doing something that they aren't, so that when you pull the cards, you start pulling answers according to what they're saying, even though they may not be telling the truth. Okay, so when a tarot reader is reading and a person just has to keep providing details, please be aware as a reader to know that that is a person that's trying to manipulate the energy. This person does not want the truth to come out. They want an outcome. They're trying to push for an outcome that goes into their favor or doesn't go into someone else's favor. Okay, so as a skilled reader, be mindful of people who are coming in not to get readings but to manipulate so that they hear what they want to hear. Okay, they're trying to manipulate your energy, and that might mess up your cards. Okay, that might, you might need to do a cleansing in between, or you might need to tell that person that you can't read for them because they're not allowing you to read for them. They're in fact contaminating your cards and contaminating your reading. Okay, so be mindful of allowing someone to pass on their karma into your cards, because that can turn you into a karmic, okay, for a minute. Even though you're reading and you're doing God's work, it's going to look a little funny. It's going to feel a little funny. You're going to feel a little confused. You may get some agitation, okay? You may get a little frustrated, or you might feel a little dizzy or something, okay? This person is trying to energetically interfere with your chakras and your reading. So be careful of people who get a lot of readings and they don't shut up while you're trying to pull on the energy. Um, they're always going between different readers, which means they're pulling energy from all the readers, and they might be getting you mixed up in a whole muck, a whole cauldron of trouble. Okay, energetic trouble. If you're reading for a person and you start noticing things start to go a little awry, you may need to not read for that person again, because that person is indeed pulling on you. They're trying to put a control on you to control the energy that you put out. So be very mindful of people who aren't good at it, but they use you a lot. And they give you so much information instead of asking for help. They are trying to input information so that they can get what they want out. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. A lot of times when you go to a movie, it's only a nice movie when you don't know what's going on. Read between the lines, okay? And that has been for Pisces. So we have masculine Pisces, whether it's a man or a female, they're trying to control the narrative, which means even if they do know a bit of tarot, they're not going to tell you, but they're going to act innocent and still try to bind you to an outcome that favors them, okay? And it's a king of swords, which means this person is pretty high ranking, so they know exactly what they're doing, even though they know how to feign innocence, and they're going to act like they know nothing about tarot, although this person is very, very versed in occult knowledge. Okay, and occult knowledge, a lot of times people will hide how much they know. It is safe to hide exactly how much you know, but in this case, it is not safe because this person is using ignorance as a weapon. This person knows exactly what they're doing. That is your Pisces reading. Sun doesn't have to be, but this is a Pisces reading, which means that there is somebody operating more in their masculine era, and they are doing a lots of manipulation when it comes to communication, and they're going to feign innocence when it comes to esoteric or occult knowledge. This person is very well versed, and they are great at convincing and confusing the energies when it comes to tarot, esoteric, or occult knowledge. This person is very well versed, and they're going to play stupid. All right, here we go. Let's get on over to Aries. That was the Pisces reading. Hopefully you can like, share, subscribe, and you know what's going on with this vibe. Don't forget to get your Inside Gossip by Alexis Cisco. Rose Duck, Rose Duck, 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 a duck, 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 Rose Duck. Okay, let me get back to what I was saying. Rose Dog Bookstore and Barnes and Noble and Amazon and Walmart. Don't forget to get your book. High Priestess, okay? High Velocity. You know, I saw Mel Brooks. I don't know why saying High Velocity made me think of Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks, he looked so different than what he looked like when he was when I was growing up, and I used to watch all of his little spoofs. I liked his that's why I said High Velocity. There is a movie titled that has something to do with high. There is a movie that Mel Brooks came. A lot of Mel Brooks's movies, they were lit, they were woke, and you had to have a certain type of stoic humor to really get Mel Brooks, right? And he's been one of my favorites for years. A lot of people didn't know that. I was really watching. I'm kind of a wasp, a little bit. I'm a little bit of a wasp when nobody's looking. Okay, so I understand when it comes to the Yiddish community, the Judaism, things of that nature. So I walk in betwixt a lot of things. I like knowledge. Knowledge is great. Okay, so I see this high priestess, I see this king of cups, and I see this, oh boy, there's an offer. There's an offer here. There's someone offering themselves. All right, it's a king of cups. Oh, wow. In Aries. Okay, so there's some leadership coming on. Even if it's not an extra person, it might be you coming to the grips with all of yourself and holy union with the things of you. Sometimes your masculine meets your feminine within yourself, and you realize that you are all you need. And to have someone extra would be, they would have to actually prove themselves as worthy to be around, because if you've got all that you need, it's really going to be hard spent to have someone come in because they might end up in the way. You know what it's like when you have more than one cook in the kitchen and everybody's so good at what they do that they're trying to overtake another pot. So there's only one room for one cook in the kitchen. Even though they're balanced in their masculine and feminine, sometimes you have to understand when you're conditioned to be with someone and when you're conditioned not to be. Some of us are finding out that we're not too conditioned to cohabitate with other people, especially when a person wants to be the whole entire thing, right? If you are already whole, somebody coming in to try to make you feel incomplete feels like you're playing on their top. Honestly, I've been there. When you're a whole person, you can't have other people come in. And once again, let's make this announcement for mental health. Now, there are crisis lines. There's places you could call, 1-800 numbers if you need help. Okay, if you need someone to talk to, you might need to go to a professional. I am not a clinical professional. I'm just a certified life coach. And I can coach you beyond that. But other than, you may need to seek professional help. Maybe get some type of diagnosis, or maybe do some labs and figure out why is it you're spewing things that no one asked about, or things of that nature. So maybe you should get some support from your local community clinic or something like that if you need help mentally. Okay, all right, there are a lot of mental crisis lines that can help you with that. I'm not clinically allowed to diagnose you, but it seems like you have something close to Tourette's, saying things that randomly that nobody actually provoked you to say. Okay, so go and get a handle on that. It's okay. Mental health is a big thing. All right. Okay, so high priestess, king of cups, that sort of thing. We've got the high priestess out here. That is a major arcana. Unleash the power of your subconscious mind. Follow your intuition to unlock greater possibilities. That is the moon, and that is feminine. The moon is a feminine sign, highly intuitive, great thing to be. Some men are very intuitive as well, although they like to hide the fact that they sit in their room and they think and they read books and stuff because they got to come out and be all, yeah, I'm strong. Me man, you woman, let me take you back to my cave. There are some men that are like, hey, beautiful, you're wonderful. Let's go pick flowers today, sort of things like that. Hey, have you learned about that new aioli recipe? That sort of thing. So don't get so caught up in being masculine that you don't understand how the feminine works in your life. Okay, so then we've got the king of cups, which means not only is this king sitting upon his throne and he has things established, he's able to offer, he's able to give and take to the universe without overdoing it. He always understands the balance of things. He also knows the power of give and take. He knows being open to give means that you're also open to receive. That is also one of the communications of the universe. When you are now having an open heart and you are able to give, you are also able to receive in those same cups that you are offering. So understanding that energy is what the king of cups is. What's known does not have to be explained. And here we go to this wonderful Cancer energy, okay? This means that you can operate in your feelings. You can operate in your cups. without fear of being overtaken and without fear of being taken advantage of. So I don't know who this is for, but this is the Aries reading. Someone is about to take leadership in the giving and taking situation. Someone wants to come about and take leadership. They want to show you that they can actually come into a relationship and be a giver. That's wonderful. So this is a great reading for Aries leadership. Empress, High Priestess is the moon. So that is the major arcana. We have the King of Cups. Let's see what that sign is. The King of Cups. All right, it's air and water, which means that there's great communication and there's lots of emotion. Beautiful, beautiful sign. And once again, we have Cancer. So that is Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So whatever this union is, it's going to be full of talks, walks, communication, love language. This is going to be an awesome situation. So take what resonates. This is going to be awesome. All air, all water, and this is the Aries reading. So someone's definitely going to take leadership and they're going to show, if not their partner, they're going to show the world how you do love. Whether it just be with yourself, with your community, or with your partner, or with your kids. Someone's going to take the lead way in showing how to restore love to the universe. All right, I'm going to give a good... I'm going to clap for that. That's wonderful. We have so many people who just want to take, who just want to be miserable, who want everybody to be angry, who don't understand that happiness is a way of life. You know, we got to just be all right with the people who are actually not afraid to be authentic and come out and just love on this world. Okay? Wonderful. All right. So we've got one more sign. Do you know what that is? Like, it's two. We're going to end in Gemini. So we've got Taurus, and that's the one sign that's left. I am the gem that I say I am. Let me take these glasses off. I'm starting to feel the indentations that come from glasses. Yeah, it's me again. I am not using a filter. I don't have on anything but eyeliner and lip today. I know someone hates that. They hate the fact that when I get on, I don't use a filter. And I only use eyeliner and a lip gloss sometimes. That's sometimes, though. You can tell. So, Taurus, there's a battle. Woo, this Nine of Swords came out, but it's upright. Doesn't mean anything good, but it's upright. And then we've got this Eight of Cups. Woo, woo, woo. Escapism much? So someone started a bunch of crap. They're losing a lot of sleep, okay? Losing a lot of sleep. And then we've got the escapism. So they want to take whatever they got and head for the hills because, look, the moon looks a little angry. Look, you see the moon? The moon is like smoldering. I meant to show you what the sun looked like when I was saying that the sun was giving tude earlier. I wanted to see that too. I wanted to show you that the sun was giving tude. It was like the eyebrow was lifted. Here it is. Look. You see that? Somebody's face is like, looks like something stank all the time. What a stank little attitude. All right, so yeah, with this Taurus, this is a battled warrior. What do you need? What do you need? That's what you want? Okay, gotcha. I put the other pots down. I'm doing a bunch at the same time. Okay, so, like I said, there's a battle warrior that's like that what was that? The 5 of Wands. They're battling on a hill, so it's an uphill battle. It's only getting harder and harder the longer that this battle ensues. And they got to get through it, I guess. I'm off screen talking to you. Yeah, and then we have the 9 of Swords. So let me get into this book for the 9 of Swords. Anybody having ascension symptoms? It's like my ear just popped. I just went another level, like right here. Here, take your berries. Are you going to finish those blueberries? I want a blueberry, actually. I've got some nice plump blueberries. Want some? Here. Mmm. So good. Oh, God. And it's sweet, too. Amazing. Okay. I had a moment. Okay. So, 10 on blueberries were good. And they're making me smile. Mmm. Nine of Swords. Overcoming anxiety, finding support, recovering from illness, releasing trauma. So, this uphill battle here with this Five of Wands is because of some type of trauma. Somebody's having a lot of trauma. And they're trying to escape. So maybe someone caused a lot of trauma in this here group and they don't know what to do because people are starting to talk to them. People are starting to ask questions. People are starting to wonder, why are we here? What is this about? Why did you say the things that you say? Why is this condition going this way? And someone wants to run away. Someone wants to run away from what they started about these cups. So someone started a lot of stuff about some money, right? And they don't know what to do because people are starting to ask questions. People are starting to text. They're starting to email. They're starting to DM. They're starting to come up and straight approach like, what the hell you got going on for real? Like, why you do that? Why did you say that? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, somebody's about to have to start to face the trauma that they started. Somebody got together and they started to stir it up. Stir it up. Somebody decided to stir up the cauldron and now they've got their own little witch's brew and they're telling everybody, it's not me, it's somebody else. They did it. No, it's you. You put your name on it. You John Hancocked it. You decided to tell these people this, that, and the third. You decided that you were going to get other people involved. You started it. You started it. So you actually have to fix it or deal with it or face it. You can't just keep running away after you start stuff. That means that you're immature, you're childish if you always running away after you start things. It's not fair for you to keep being around. You come around, you start things, and then you run away after you get things started. After a while, people are going to get smart and they're going to ask you to stop coming around. Because if every time you come around, things happen, then people are not going to be so welcoming to you after a while, or else they're stupid or they need to find something else to entertain themselves with. Because why would you keep being entertained by someone coming around and causing chaos in your environment? I mean, some people do get old, they don't grow up, unfortunately. So that's in the Taurus reading. The Nine of Swords is Mars and Gemini, which means that they're basically getting what they give back. Let's talk about this escapism, which is this Eight of Cups. Looking deep into your heart to see what ignites you and motivates your life and what makes you dull and depressed. And that is the Pisces, the Saturn in Pisces, release emotions and finding grounding. So somebody's delusional as hell, and they take their delusionals around to anybody who would listen. And unfortunately for some people, they feel as though this person is upright, not knowing that the stuff that they're listening to is from their own delusion. So, yeah, what I tell you about sitting around people who just spew a bunch of stuff and you taking it at face value, not really realizing if you don't do your research or not listen to that person, you'll end up in the same karma that they have. So, if you know a person likes to lie a lot, they like to start a bunch of stuff, they like to stir up situations, and you take part in it and you never go and do your own research or you invest in it not really knowing exactly what it is, you will play a part in their karma. You will share their karma. So when things start beating them down, when their money get low, when their health start being affected, when they can't keep no gas in the car, when they can't keep their bills paid, when they can't keep their emotions in check, you going to share in that same energy. All because you chose to listen. You chose to take part in. You chose to take action. You chose to go toward the situation. So be careful who you listening to and who you sitting around. Okay, be careful. And that was in the Taurus situation. So Taurus, you got Pisces and Gemini going on, which means that not only are you intuitive, you know how to reciprocate. You chose to go into this bad situation because you like the chaos. It's nothing worse than a South Node Taurus. They get real ghetto because they take validation in people's demises. They also take a lot of validation in confusion because they insert their own little insecurities into the confusion. However, what you gonna pull back is a nub. That's like putting your hand in a wood chipper because it looked fun, and then you realize, oh, I don't have no hand left. Yeah, but you wanted to escape into the chaos, not knowing that you would lose a limb in the chaos. All right. So last but not least, let's get on over to Gemini, because that old funky Taurus reading was something else. I got you, baby. I got you, babe. I got you, babe. Ain't that Sonny and Cher? They say we're young and don't something something. Da, 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 da. I got you, babe. Hey, wasn't Sonny a Cancer? Didn't he break his leg on a skiing trip? Oh, damn. That ain't a good omen. I got you, babe. Didn't he? Somebody broke their hip. Didn't Sonny and Cher go on a skiing trip? I think Sonny was the karmic and Cher was the star seed, but she loves Sonny. And sometimes you go through things when you connect yourself to a karmic. That was Sonny and Cher. I don't know why I was tempted to. I was prompted to share this story with you because I'm not really well versed in it, but I do remember Sonny and Cher, and they went on a trip, and somebody came back from the ski trip with with the limbs dismembered or broken up, something like that. So you just be careful. A lot of times you think you're going to go have fun. You're with the karmic. The fact that you keep coming up busted or somebody keep coming back busted means that the negative energy is coming somewhere. And unfortunately and fortunately enough, some karmics are so bad that everybody around them gets their karma before it actually hits them. Be careful. All right, that was the Taurus reading. Let me get out of here. I wanted to just tell you what the cards were saying. Five of Wands. Let's see what the thing was when the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is Leo Saturn. So that's fire. That's definitely masculine Saturn. Taming your aggression and resolving stress. So somebody's definitely out here beefing in these streets. They already started a bunch of stuff, which I said. Now they're up with the Nine of Swords because they've got to deal with the fact that they keep stirring it up and letting people go on and cook up. And then they got to deal with the outfall and the people looking at them. And the people looking at them in Gemini. Right. And then the 8, which is this escapism in the cups, the Pisces. So it's Gemini, Pisces, Leo. Leo, Gemini, Pisces. That's the element. We got fire, water, and air. You know what that can do. That could cause a hurricane. So somebody's definitely starting a hurricane and they're trying to run away from it. Ooh, boy. Remember that movie Tornado? Or was it Tornado? Twister. Twister. Remember her husband tried to steal her whole idea for how she was able to track the tornado, and he went and married somebody else to make her jealous. And she just turned out to be an idiot, a really cute airhead. And he actually wanted to be with the ex-wife, and they nearly came to death over him trying to prove a point. Twister, that was a really good movie. Oh, when reality meets the big screen. I've watched a lot of movies. Okay, so let me get on over to Gemini. That's the last one, last but not least. Twister was a very good movie. But go on and look up that story with Sonny and Cher about when they went on that ski trip to Aspen. They went on a ski trip to Aspen and he came back with his leg broken. And then go over to Twister and look at that movie. That movie was quite good. And you understood it was quite spiritual. Now that I'm thinking about it, it was quite spiritual, especially with the aunt that had all of those bells set up in the trees outside in the bottle so that she can know when the wind got really scary and changed suddenly. She also could call when those twisters were coming. Moo. Remember when that cow went through the twister and she actually looked up into the eye of the storm and she was actually able to see the cow? That was some wild stuff. Remember that movie Twister? The main character, she was blonde. I forget what the husband's name was. He was a butthole. The kid is there. I couldn't say what I wanted to say. All right, so now we've got the Seven of Wands. We've got mental clarity, and we've got the Empress. This is Gemini. I am the Gem that I say I am. Yeah. Long as you think you impeding me, money gonna come to me easily. Long as you think you impeding me, money gonna come to me easily. Long as you impeding me, money gonna come to me easily. Yay! Don't forget to say your affirmations. I am the gem that I say I am. And this is Gemini. Remember to keep up your boundaries. This is the Seven of Wands. This is the Ace of Swords. Mental clarity, cutting straight through, not afraid to make a head over heart decision, and keeping your heart protected. And the Empress, mwah, lovely lady, isn't she? The lady is doing well. She's doing very good as far as health and abundance. Sometimes you just have to be abundant in energy, and that brings you wealth. All right, this has been your Gemini reading, the last but not least. The Empress is 3, the Ace of Swords, and the 7. That is a 10 together. Wish fulfillment, you know. Home is where the heart is. Can you locate your home? Till next time. Don't come for me because somebody crazy might have sent you.